Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the one mistake that's costing you thousands online. So let's jump in real quick. So it's going to be procrastination. And you might be saying, hey, David, I've heard of that one before. That isn't anything new. But I really want to talk to you about this from a real world perspective. Somebody that's been making money online for the last 4 years full time, was able to leave my 9 to 5 job, fire my boss, and have ultimate freedom to decide what my schedule is going to be each day. Now, I will say that's the number one thing that is the most exciting thing about working for yourself and finally making it happen for yourself is the freedom that you get to create for yourself and the flexibility, that the ability to take time off when you need to, spend time with family and friends and so forth. But the thing that I notice across the board, I'm running 2 school communities. I've sold over $80,000 in online courses, and I have had multiple YouTube channels, probably over 10 YouTube channels. And so I've taught this, I've done private coaching as well. And the number one thing that ends up happening for people that just don't get started, or they feel like they're going uphill and they don't know where to start, or they don't know why they're not getting results in their business. And it really comes down to either non-existent action taking, right? Like, so not taking action, you're not going to be able to get result B or result step 2 if you haven't completed A or step 1, right? So there is obviously something that has to happen in the beginning. And that number one thing is lighting a fire and creating a plan and then executing on that plan. And when we don't execute on that plan, or we don't even start, right? So when we don't even start, like we don't even write down our goals on paper and what we would like to achieve and why do we want to achieve this, and then we don't take steps to actually start the process, that's called procrastination. All right. So we're going to talk about this. I'm going to share you some really cool quotes, and then we're going to talk about how you can actually go get out of this procrastination loop that you're in and actually finally starting to take action in your business. Okay. So here's a famous quote: don't wait, the time will never be just right. And this is from Napoleon Hill, who was the author and creator of Think and Grow Rich. So let's analyze this and just talk about this for a second. So don't wait, the time will never be just right. How often have you wanted to do something in your life, whether it's sign up at the community college to take a course, or, hey, I want to learn Spanish, but I'm going to wait till next year. I'm going to wait till this or that. Like my kids are in this grade, or I'm going to wait until I achieve this result in this other part of my life before I have time, make time for this. How often do we wait to get to the gym and start exercising because we're like, oh, I don't have time, but if I get that promotion at work, then maybe I'll have more money and then I can sign up for the gym, and maybe I'll also have more time. We, on a daily basis, we're really good. Human beings are very good at convincing ourselves otherwise and for creating excuses from within and in our brain, right? And so this one resonates because don't wait, the time will never be just right. Right. And so honestly, there really isn't a good time. You could wait and say, hey, wait until I get that $500,000 from my court lawsuit, and then I'll be able to go and do this or something. Something is going to come up. Someone's going to I'm just spitballing here, but some factor that is out of your control or out of your prediction or estimation is going to happen. And that's just the way that life happens. Right. And so there's never really a perfect time to start losing weight, a perfect time to start an online business, a perfect time to do X, Y, Z. And so you may as well start now. And even if it's maybe not the most optimal time in your life, as far as, like, let's say you're just really strapped for time or whatever. Another person I like to rely on for like quotes about how much time you have during the day would be Arnold Schwarzenegger, because that guy knew how to get 26 hours out of the 24-hour day that we all get, right? And so there's no excuses. And so when we can look at just starting the process, and hopefully you can optimize it along the way and it'll get a little bit better, a little bit easier. But waiting for the perfect time to start, that time's never going to arrive, okay? The next one is everyone procrastinates. The difference between high performers and low performers is largely determined by what they choose to procrastinate on. This one's great. And one of my favorite motivational speakers and authors is Brian Tracy. One of my favorite books of his, and I believe he made it in the late 80s or early 90s. It's about a 10-hour audio book. I love it. It's called The Luck Factor. And basically, that one talks about the whole gist of that book is that you always often look at people and their success, and then you basically call them lucky. They didn't get a fair start. They got a head start in life, or they got money passed down to them, and that's why they were able to start up that business, or they have this going for them, and that's why they were able to achieve this result. And simply, he just studied several millionaires, and discovered that they all had certain things in common that allowed them to get where they were at. And most of the time, and I think there's a statistic, most millionaires are self-made millionaires. It's not actually inherited or anything like that. So everybody starts from, maybe not from the same playing field, but everybody does start from the bottom when it comes to making money online and starting an online business. And that's what I teach, right? And so what this quote really means to me is that, long story short, we all make excuses and procrastinate and say we don't have time for this or time for that. But if you really actually write down what you do on a daily basis, even if you're working full time, you're working 2 jobs, you have kids, you have spouses, you have all kinds of obligations throughout the day, and there are people out there in similar situations than you that are making 30 minutes a day, making 1 hour a day, staying up later or waking up earlier, and they're figuring out how to put a little bit of time into an online business to grow that side hustle. And then that side hustle ends up becoming you start making enough money to be able to replace your day job, right? And that's what happened to me. I took baby steps and did one little task every single day, and then it compounded. And then eventually I was able to quit my job and do this full time, which was a dream come true for me. And that was my ultimate goal, was just to be able to do this full time. And so what this really getting down to this is, we choose what we procrastinate on, right? Like, so if you're watching Netflix 2 hours a night, or you're watching movies every single day, or you're going and hanging out with friends every single day, you're not procrastinating on that, right? You're procrastinating on starting your business, and because that's going to require some work, right? That's going to require some sacrifices that maybe you only have 1 or 2 hours in the day of leisure time. And how we spend that leisure time, if you are working full time and you are providing for a family, but you still have this dream of making money online, you have to make some sacrifices in the beginning. And that might take a whole year of you setting aside 6 days out of the week. I'm not going to be watching TV and movies and Netflix, or going out with my friends, or whatever it's going to be. I'm going to have to set aside some leisure time this year in order to build this business up. And so we choose what we procrastinate on. A lot of people, we choose to procrastinate on starting our online business and creating YouTube videos, right? But then we don't procrastinate on watching TV. And that's what this really means to me, is that we all get to choose our activities each day and what is important to us. And until you cross over to how important your online business is to you and how bad you really want it, that's going to determine if you're willing to set aside some of the things that are leisurely activities, right? And I'm not saying to put it away at 100%, but you might have to put it away about 85 to 90%, at least, to get your business off the ground and running. You can often look at people and see what is important to them, right? And if you haven't started your business, if you're always talking about, I want to start an online business, I'd love to do that, and it's my dream come true, it'll be my dream to be able to have a successful YouTube channel that pays me month after month. But then when I go and interview you and ask you about your life and ask you, what do you do when you get off work and all this stuff? And you basically tell me that, like, oh, I usually do this, then we eat dinner, then we go outside and maybe exercise a little bit or go to the park. And then we come back, and then then the kids go to bed. And I usually have about an hour and a half before I go to bed. When I ask you, what do you do during that time? Well, I usually just get on the couch and I'm exhausted and I watch Netflix. Well, people that start their own online businesses and end up making it a success, they set aside that hour and a half before bed of watching TV, and they actually go back, and they either go to bed early and wake up early, or they spend that hour and a half getting on their computer and actually making YouTube videos or making Instagram reels or whatever it's going to be, but working towards their business. Okay. So that's a really big one to me, is that we get to choose what we do with our leisure activities. In my opinion, that's what really hits home for me on this one. And then we have this one: nothing creates more stress than when your actions and behaviors aren't congruent with our lives. This is by Darren Hardy, and he is the author. He's the CEO and creator of, I think, Success Magazine or Entrepreneur Magazine, something like that. One of those really big magazines. And he's a millionaire as well. And he was a young millionaire. I believe he was a millionaire by the time he was about 23 years old or something like that. Really successful business guy. But he's also the author of The Compound Effect, the book, The Compound Effect. I recommend getting it on audiobook and listening to it. It's a really great book that teaches you the principles of the compound effect, doing a little bit each day. And that's what I did in order to actually become successful, is taking small steps that you can't really measure on a day-to-day basis. But when you start looking at it from a 3-month, 6-month, 12-month perspective, you're like, oh, wow, if I hadn't started doing this on a daily basis 9 months ago, then look at where I'm at today, right? It's a compound effect that just happens and takes place when you start moving towards your goal on a daily basis. So I'm going to read this one more time. Nothing creates more stress than when our actions and behaviors aren't congruent with our values. This goes back to this quote that I just read from Brian Tracy, right? We choose what we use our time for. This one also is the same thing, right? If your value is that you want to be a hard worker that is willing to put in the time and work hard, and you want to have freedom in your life and start making money online, but then your actions on a daily basis don't add up to that, right? So your actions are that you're watching movies for 3 hours a day, and then when I come back and I ask you, so did you get any YouTube videos out this week, right? Did you do anything to move the needle in your online business and your online dreams and your online goals and ambitions? And then when we come back and we look at and analyze your actual week, and what it looked like was that you actually spent 12 hours, believe it or not, 12 hours in your quote unquote busy week, that you worked and took kids to soccer practice and you were just so busy. But then you actually had time, if we kept the journal, to watch 12 hours of Netflix or movies or TV or playing guitar or doing other leisurely activities. So then this goes to this quote, that your actions are not matching up with your values. Your value is that you want more financial freedom in your life. You want to be your own boss. You want to start your own online business. Those are your values, but then your actions are not moving you towards that. Your actions say otherwise, that actually, no, I'd rather watch TV instead, right? So they're very closely related, right? We get to choose what we spend our time on, okay? And I wanted to show you inside of my community. If you want to join, there'll be a link below. There isn't a little application process. I'm letting most people in, and you can see we're approaching 100 members right now at the time of recording this video. This is a free community, and you're going to be able to come in here, and I've got a free course, probably 4 hours of content in here, 20 to 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes videos. There's 9 videos in there right now. It teaches you all about exactly what to do in order to start moving the needle in your online business, specifically teaching you YouTube and affiliate marketing. So we make money with affiliate marketing, and by way of getting free traffic on YouTube. And that's essentially what I teach, right? And so if that's something that's interesting to you, click the link below and go and sign up. But only sign up if you're an action taker, right? I have a rule in this community. If you're what I call a lurker, where lurkers basically come in, they sign up for stuff, they look around, but they don't contribute. They don't do anything. They don't get to level 2. They don't put their introduction post. They just don't take that little tiny step that I'm asking to get 5 points and move to level 2. And I want to show you right now that even 62% of the people that are coming in have not taken the steps to get to level 2. And if they don't get to level 2 within 14 days, they actually will be removed from the group. It's not hard at all. I can get level 2 probably within 5 minutes. And this goes back to the quotes that we just went over on action taking. Why would you sign up for something and then not go to the start here, right? We come over to the community, and this is in all bold, all capitalized text with a rocket and a key, this whole thing right here, like it's pinned. This is the number one thing that you do when you sign up is you go and read this post right here. And the first thing that I talk about right here, no passive learners. If you don't reach level 2 before 14 days, you'll be removed from the community, right? So if you sign up for something and you don't go in here and you don't read this first couple paragraphs, then you're going to be left in the dust. This is a free community, right? I mean, imagine how that would feel being removed from a free community that all you had to do was just go over to the introduction section and introduce yourself. So that's what these people are doing. Look, they're getting activity. By the time you introduce yourself, right? You come in here, I'm going to click on this right in front of you. I'm going to like his post. This person is going to end up being level 2 very soon. And they just signed up a few hours ago. Okay. So those are the people that are doing the right thing. I wanted to show you what it looks like when you do take action. One of my students that doesn't procrastinate, and we'll come in here, and I'm not going to share their name, but you can see they share where they're at. They started a community. They have 100 people in their community, but look at this. This month has been slow since I'm redoing my site and setting up funnels finally, but I've passed $3,000 for the year. And 2/3 of that has been from their own products and the occasional coaching session right there. They've made some affiliate commissions as well, right? And so we have that person, and then we have another person right over here that made a commission of $100 as well with affiliate marketing as well. So I have students in my communities that actually go out and do what I teach them how to do, and I do it exactly what I'm doing. And that's how I teach you how to do it. And they go out there and they actually start making money. And it's like, wow, it really does work. And all I had to do was just follow the program, right? Well, I'm giving you the chance to join a program for free and learn all these skills for free. I'm giving back because I'm approaching almost $500,000 in revenue that I have made in profits. And I'm giving back to the community and saying, hey, I'm going to teach you guys how to do this for free. Okay. So if you guys want to go and jump in, but remember, stop procrastinating, take action towards your goals. And I think that you might surprise yourself in the results that you can achieve. I'll see you in the next video.